The championship arena buzzes with energy. The crowd's roar swelling like a tidal wave. Jamal Carter, the star player, drives fiercely toward the basket, every movement a blend of grace and power. The ball arcs through the air, a perfect shot. In motion, but suddenly a sharp whistle slices through the noise, halting the moment. Cheers dissolve into stunned silence, the atmosphere shifting from celebration to disbelief. Referee Dan Porter steps forward, his expression unreadable, but his eyes fixed on Jamal with an intensity that borders on accusation. The announcement is cold and final. A technical foul for aggression, followed by an immediate ejection. The crowd's energy falters, whispers spreading like wildfire as fans grapple with the sudden injustice. Jamal's face tightens, sweat tracing lines down his temple. His fists clench, knuckles whitening, but he breathes deeply, steadying himself against the weight of the moment. He meets Porter's gaze with calm defiance, a silent refusal to be broken by the unfair call. The camera captures the subtle power shift, the referee's authority challenged by Jamal's quiet dignity. Teammates exchange uncertain glances, some reaching out to offer support, others frozen in hesitation. The scoreboard glows ominously. The game's fate now hanging in the balance without its brightest star. A coach's hand hovers, wanting to protest but falls away, knowing the consequences of challenging the official. A young fan in the front row lowers his sign, confusion and disappointment etched across his face. The crowd's mood shifts palpably, the sense of injustice growing heavier with each passing second. A commentator's voice cuts through the tension, predicting the game's outcome without Jamal. The scene closes on Jamal's retreating figure, shoulders squared, head held high, a symbol of resilience amid systemic bias. The moment lingers, the injustice unresolved, setting the stage for a battle that extends far beyond the court. Before the story continues, please let us know from where you are watching this video. Write your city or country in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like if you believe in stories that challenge injustice. Your engagement gives power to voices that need to be heard. The echo of the whistle still hangs in the air as Jamal leaves the court, the crowd's confusion thickening into a heavy quiet. Referee Dan Porter stands at center court, his jaw clenched, eyes following Jamal with a gaze that lingers too long. Sharp, assessing, unkind. He adjusts his collar, a subtle sign of discomfort masked by authority. The arena lights catch the sweat on his brow, but his expression remains hard, unmoved by the murmurs rippling through the stands. A sideline reporter glances at Porter, her notepad forgotten in her lap. She leans toward a cameraman and whispers, "Did you see that? He didn't even hesitate." The cameraman nods, lips pressed tight, the moment not lost on him. Porter's hand hovers over his chest, fingers brushing the whistle as if it's a badge. He scans the bench, eyes narrowing on Jamal's teammates, each one silent, shoulders tense. His gaze moves to the opposing team, but it softens, almost approving. The difference is subtle, but it's there, a quiet message sent and received. A young assistant coach shifts uneasily, clearing his throat. "He's always quick with Carter," he mutters to the head coach, who only sighs, eyes locked on the floor. The unspoken truth sits between them, heavy and familiar. Porter turns away, lips curling in a tight, dismissive smile. He signals for play to resume, his posture rigid, every movement deliberate. The crowd's energy has changed, no longer celebratory but wary, watchful. Jamal's absence is a void on the court, but the real absence is justice. Porter's authority stands unchallenged for now, but the tension in the arena is undeniable. A collective realization that something deeper than a game has shifted. The camera lingers on Porter's face, the lines around his eyes deepening as he tries to ignore the weight of 1,000 silent accusations. The arena's atmosphere thickens, the weight of history pressing down on every spectator. The tension is palpable, a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. The crowd holds its breath, waiting for the next move. The unspoken weight of injustice, hanging heavy. The arena's energy shifts as Jamal Carter stands firm, his gaze steady despite the weight of the unjust call. Sweat beads on his brow, but his posture remains unyielding, a quiet strength radiating from within. Around him, the crowd's murmurs swell, a mix of confusion and growing doubt. Porter's eyes flicker with unease, sensing the silent challenge. Jamal's calm defies the chaos, his breath measured, his fists unclenched. He doesn't shout or plead, his presence alone speaks volumes. Teammates exchange glances, some hesitant, others inspired by Jamal's restraint. A coach bites his lip, nodding subtly, acknowledging the quiet power in dignity. Jamal, softly, "I'm here to play, not to be judged by fear." Porter's jaw tightens, the referee's authority wavering under the weight of unspoken truths. The arena's lights seem harsher, shadows lengthening as the moment stretches. A young fan clutches a sign, eyes wide with hope. The camera lingers on Jamal's face, resolute, unbroken, a beacon amid the storm. The scene shifts to the sidelines where a veteran player wipes sweat from his brow, his eyes reflecting a mix of frustration and admiration. He exchanges a brief nod with Jamal, a silent pact of solidarity. In the stands, a mother grips her child's hand tightly, whispering words of encouragement. The child's wide eyes mirror the tension, the unspoken understanding of a battle far beyond the game. Porter's gaze falters as he watches Jamal's composed defiance. His fingers twitch, the weight of his decisions pressing down. The whistle hangs heavy around his neck, a symbol of authority now burdened with doubt. The crowd's energy shifts again, a low murmur growing into a chorus of whispers, questioning the fairness of the call. The scoreboard glows ominously, but the real score is the silent reckoning unfolding in the arena. Jamal's steady breath fills the quiet, his presence a testament to resilience. The game continues, but the true victory lies in the unyielding spirit of a player who refuses to be broken. The arena's energy shifts palpably as the crowd's cheers fade into murmurs and whispers, faces once bright with excitement, now cloud with confusion and unease, reflecting a collective questioning of the referee's decision. The camera pans over groups of fans exchanging uncertain glances, their voices low but charged with disbelief. Young woman bites her lip, eyes darting between the scoreboard and the empty spot where Jamal once stood. An elderly man shakes his head slowly, his hands folded tightly in his lap. Nearby, a group of teenagers huddle, their whispered conversations punctuated by sharp nods and furtive glances. The announcer's voice falters, the usual enthusiasm replaced by a hesitant tone. "Well, folks, this changes the game," he murmurs, the words hanging heavy in the air. The scoreboard's glow seems harsher now, casting long shadows across the court. On the sidelines, Jamal's teammates exchange looks, some filled with frustration, others with a growing resolve. A coach wipes sweat from his brow, his jaw clenched as he watches the unfolding scene. The tension is thick, a silent storm brewing beneath the surface. The camera lingers on a young fan clutching a "Now let them play" sign, her eyes wide with hope and fear. The murmurs swell into a chorus of quiet dissent, a collective awakening to the injustice that has just unfolded. Porter stands rigid, his posture stiffening as he senses the shift. His eyes flicker nervously, the weight of the crowd's changing mood pressing down. The whistle around his neck feels heavier, a symbol of authority now questioned. The scene closes on the empty spot on the court, the echo of Jamal's absence, resonating deeply. The game continues, but the true battle has just begun, a fight for fairness, dignity, and recognition. Jamal's silhouette lingers at the edge of the court, his back straight as he walks toward the tunnel. The arena holds its breath, the tension thick enough to taste. Every step he takes echoes, each one a quiet protest against the injustice that's just unfolded. The scoreboard's numbers blur in the background, irrelevant now to everyone watching. Commentator's voice breaks the quiet, softer than before. Without Carter, the team's chances just vanished. His words drift, landing like a challenge no one dares answer. The camera finds Porter standing rigid, his gaze locked on the floor. His authority feels brittle, the crowd's doubt a silent verdict. Teammates gather near the bench, their faces a mix of disbelief and anger. One player throws a towel to the floor, the thud echoing in the stillness. Another sits with his head in his hands, shoulders shaking, not from exhaustion but from frustration. The head coach paces, jaw clenched, eyes darting between the officials and his team. He wants to protest, but restraint wins out, the cost of open defiance too high. In the stands, a father pulls his son closer, whispering, "Remember this." The boy nods, his eyes never leaving Jamal's retreating figure. The crowd's energy has shifted. What began as excitement has curdled into a heavy, unresolved tension. Porter glances up, catching the eyes of a few fans. Their stares are sharp, questioning, unflinching. He swallows hard, suddenly aware of the scrutiny. The camera lingers on the empty court, the game resuming with a hollow intensity. The outcome hangs in the air, uncertain and fraught. The arena is no longer just a place for sport, it's now a stage for something far greater. The gym is dim, echoes of bouncing balls and distant whistles fading into a heavy stillness. 15-year-old Jamal sits on the bench, his jersey damp with sweat, eyes fixed on the court where his teammates play without him. He had just scored 40 points, but the coach's shrug silences any protest. "They see what they want to see," the coach mutters, voice low and defeated. Years later, the janitor, Mr. Thompson, shuffles through a dusty filing cabinet in the league's old office. His fingers tremble as he pulls out a yellowed folder, marked Ejection Records. The pages reveal a pattern: 80% of ejections by referee Dan Porter target black players. The camera lingers on the faded ink, a silent indictment of a system built on bias. A young assistant coach passes by, pausing to glance at the janitor. His eyes flicker with unease, a silent acknowledgement of the truth buried beneath years of routine. Nearby, a security guard adjusts his cap, his posture stiffening as if sensing the weight of the moment. Back in the gym, Jamal's mother watches from the stands, her hands clenched tightly around a folded program. Her eyes glisten with a mix of pride and pain, memories of her son's struggle etched deep. The scene shifts to a reporter's cluttered desk, where investigative journalist Elena Ruiz pores over the same records. Her fingers hover over the keyboard, hesitating before typing a message. This isn't just about one player. The camera cuts to a social media feed, where the hashtag #RarsLetThemPlay begins to trend, a quiet call for justice spreading like wildfire. The janitor closes the folder, with a finality that echoes through the empty office. His breath is steady, resolving hardening. The fight is no longer silent. The dim light of a small cafe casts long shadows over Elena Ruiz's focused face. Her laptop screen glows with spreadsheets and emails, each line a thread unraveling a deeper truth. She pauses, fingers hovering over the keyboard, then types a message to Jamal. "This isn't just about you." A source's whispered warning echoes in her mind. The league scrubs complaints. Elena's eyes flicker to a folder stacked with documents, biased stats, ejection records, and internal memos. The camera captures her trembling hands as she sifts through the evidence, the weight of systemic injustice pressing down. Outside, the city hums unaware, but inside a quiet storm brews. Elena's voiceover breaks the stillness. Truth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the whisper that shakes the foundation. A barista wipes a counter nearby, stealing a glance at Elena, her expression a mix of curiosity and concern. Across the room, a man in a suit shifts uneasily, his eyes darting to the door as if expecting trouble. Elena's phone buzzes. A new tip. She leans back, breath steadying, resolves hardening. The fight to expose the league's hidden bias has only just begun. She scrolls through another set of emails, jaw tightening as she reads a memo. "Handle complaints quietly." Elena shakes her head, frustration simmering beneath her calm exterior. She jots down a note, her pen pressing hard into the page. A waiter brings her coffee, setting it down with a hesitant smile. "Working late?" he asks. Elena nods, offering a tired but genuine smile in return. "Some stories don't sleep. The scene closes on Elena's determined face, the glow of the laptop reflecting a battle far bigger than one player. The evidence grows. The truth, once hidden, is inching toward daylight. The locker room is thick with unspoken pressure, the air heavy after Jamal's ejection. Liam Walsh stands at his locker, the weight of his teammates' stares pressing in from all sides. He catches his own reflection, jaw set, eyes shadowed with doubt, as his phone glows with the trending, "Let them play." His girlfriend's words echo in his mind. Neutrality helps the oppressor. He exhales, the quiet around him almost suffocating. Teammate grunts, tossing his shoes aside, gaze fixed on the floor. Another shifts from foot to foot, glancing at the exit as if wishing to disappear. Liam's voice barely rises above a whisper. "I can't just stand by." The words hang, fragile but determined. The room holds still. A veteran player, arms crossed, gives a subtle nod. Silent support. No words needed. Liam's fingers tighten. Around his phone, the screen's blue light casting his face in stark relief. The distant roar of the crowd seeps in, a reminder that the world is still watching, even here. Liam's gaze hardens, indecision replaced by resolve. He steps away. From his locker, voice firmer this time. "We have to be more than bystanders." The statement lands. A challenge and a plea all at once. A coach, standing near the door, clears his throat, eyes flickering with cautious approval but saying nothing. A rookie player glances up, uncertainty flickering in his eyes, but he nods once, a small gesture of agreement. The camera lingers on. Liam's clenched fist, a tangible sign of a quiet, growing rebellion. The tension in the room shifts, no longer just fear, but the first stirrings of collective courage. The scene closes on Liam's determined face, the quiet storm of solidarity swelling, ready to break the silence that's held them all captive. The screen flickers to life, grainy footage rolling on a battered monitor in a cramped back office. The camera zooms in. A white player shoves an opponent hard, bodies colliding, but the referee, Dan Porter, stands motionless, his lips pressed together, arms folded. No call. The gym's chaos blurs around him, the whistle untouched. Seconds tick by. Then the scene jumps. Minutes later, Porter's arm snaps up, whistle blaring, as Jamal barely brushes an opponent. Ejection. The contrast is glaring. The injustice, undeniable. The clip loops, each replay fueling a storm online. Phones light up across the arena. In the stands, fans huddle over screens, faces twisted in disbelief. A young woman wipes her cheek, voice trembling. "This isn't right." Her friend shakes his head, jaw clenched, eyes never leaving the awe footage. A father pulls his daughter closer, murmuring, "Watch. Remember this." Backstage, a security guard shifts his weight, glancing at the monitor, fingers drumming nervously on his belt. He glances at a nearby coach, whose jaw is set, eyes narrowed, arms crossed tight against his chest. The coach mutters to no one in particular, "How many times has this happened?" The guard doesn't answer, but his silence speaks volumes. In the press box, a PR director paces, phone pressed to his ear. "Damage control. Now." His voice is sharp, the words clipped, but his hand shakes as he scribbles notes. A reporter nearby snaps a photo of the screen, her brow furrowed, lips pressed in a thin line. The arena's atmosphere shifts. The weight of the footage settles like a thundercloud. Porter stands courtside, shoulders rigid, scanning the crowd as if searching for support that's no longer there. The camera lingers on the looping video. The missing whistle in the first foul a deafening absence. The system's cracks exposed for all to see. Phones buzz and screens light up across the city as the security footage spreads. "Let them play" flashes everywhere, on banners, timelines, and news tickers. A black teenager in Chicago records himself, voice trembling. "This happened to me too." His confession is raw, eyes shining with both hurt and hope. The video goes viral, sparking a wave of similar stories. Jamal's mother sits at her kitchen, table, phone in hand. She scrolls through the flood of messages, her thumb pausing on a post showing her son's ejection. Tears well in her eyes, pride and pain woven together. She presses her lips tight, refusing to let her voice crack. A neighbor knocks gently, offering a quiet, supportive nod through the window. The community is watching, waiting, feeling every beat of the moment. In classrooms, students huddle around devices, whispering about the injustice. A teacher, noticing their distraction, walks over and kneels beside them. Sometimes history changes because people refuse to look away. She says softly. The students nod, their faces set with new resolve. On the street, a group of young men gather around a phone, fists raised in solidarity. "We see you, Jamal," one says, and the others echo him, their voices low but fierce. The energy is contagious, a quiet storm building. At the league office, executives stare at trending charts, their faces pale. A junior staffer whispers, "We can't ignore this." The words hang, heavy and undeniable. The camera pans across city blocks, schoolyards, living rooms. Everywhere the hashtag pulses like a heartbeat. The movement grows, fueled by pain but driven by hope, eroding decades of silence with every share and every story. The world is watching, and the tide is turning. Mr. Thompson moves quietly through the deserted hallway, his work shoes squeaking on the polished floor. He pauses by the old records room, glancing around before slipping inside. The air is thick, with dust and forgotten years. He pulls open a creaky drawer, fingers searching through brittle folders until he finds one marked Ejections, Porter. His hands tremble, not from age, but from the weight of what he's about to do. He flips through the pages, eyes scanning the names and dates. The pattern is unmistakable. Black players, again and again. Mr. Thompson's jaw tightens. He remembers the faces, the looks of confusion, the silent exits. He tucks the folder under his arm, glancing over his shoulder as a maintenance worker passes by, offering a tired smile. The worker nods, pausing just long enough to notice the file but saying, "Nothing, complicity or fear, it's hard to tell." In the staff lounge, Elena Ruiz sips lukewarm coffee, her phone buzzing with alerts. Mr. Thompson enters quietly, the folder pressed close to his chest. He clears his throat, voice low. "You're the reporter, right?" Elena looks up, surprised. He slides the folder across the table, not meeting her eyes. "You'll know what to do with this." Elena opens the file, her breath catching as she flips through the evidence. She looks up, gratitude and urgency in her gaze. Mr. Thompson just nods, wiping his hands on his pants before heading back to his rounds. No fanfare, no speeches, just the quiet courage of a man who's seen too much. The camera lingers on the folder in Elena's hands, the truth finally out of the shadows. The janitor's retreating figure fades into the hallway, a silent hero in a story that's no longer hidden. The glow of a late-night television flickers across Coach Reynolds' living room. He sits slouched on the edge of his couch, a glass of water untouched on the table. Jamal's high school highlight reel plays on mute, each basket a reminder of potential overshadowed by decisions he can't take back. The silence is thick, broken only by the distant hum of traffic outside. Coach scrolls through old messages on his phone. Congratulations, apologies, excuses. He pauses on a draft he never sent. "I should have stood up for you." His thumb hovers, then he sighs, setting the phone down. The weight of his inaction presses into his chest. A framed team photo sits on the mantel. He picks it up, tracing the faces with a finger. Jamal's smile is bright, unburdened. Coach's own face looks proud, but now he only sees the moments he looked away. He remembers the meetings, the warnings, the times he told Jamal to keep his head down. Each memory lands like a stone. His wife enters quietly, offering a gentle squeeze on his shoulder. "You did what you could," she whispers, but he shakes his head, voice rough. "I didn't do enough." He finally types a message to Jamal. "I should have fought for you. I'm sorry." He hesitates, then presses send. The screen glows in the dim room, the apology hanging in the air. Coach leans back, eyes stinging, the burden of complicity settling in. The camera lingers on his slumped posture, the muted TV, and the unsent messages that will never make amends. Outside, the city moves on, unaware of the quiet reckoning unfolding in a small, cluttered living room. A fluorescent hum fills the boardroom as league executives gather around a long, gleaming table. Nervous glances dart between laptops and stacks of documents. The head of PR clears his throat, reading from a draft statement. After review, no evidence of bias was found. The words hang, hollow, and practiced. A junior staffer, barely out of college, shifts in her seat, fingers drumming against her notebook. She exchanges a look with a colleague, both uneasy. The legal advisor slides a memo across the table. Voice, low, but urgent. We need to protect the league's image. The commissioner nods, jaw tight, eyes never leaving the polished surface in front of him. Outside the glass walls, the city glows, oblivious to the quiet orchestration of denial. The staffer's phone buzzes. A new email from Elena Ruiz, subject line, evidence enclosed. She hesitates, then forwards it to her personal account, heart pounding. Across the table, a veteran executive catches her eye, his stare a silent. Warning, the PR head resumes, we'll circulate this to all media outlets by noon. A hand goes up. A marketing manager, voice trembling. Shouldn't we address the footage? The room falls still. The commissioner responds, measured and cold. We control the narrative. That's what matters. As the meeting adjourns, the junior staffer lingers, slipping a flash drive into her bag. She steps out into the hallway, breathes shaky, resolve building. In the elevator, she texts Elena, "You'll have what you need tonight." The camera lingers on the empty boardroom, chairs pushed back, the statement left on the table. The league's facade holds for now, but cracks are forming, truth leaking through the seams, carried by those who refuse to stay silent. The locker room is tense, the air thick with unspoken questions. Liam Walsh stands near his locker, the weight of Jamal's ejection pressing down on him. His jersey feels heavier, a symbol of the silence he's carried too long. He catches his reflection in the mirror, jaw clenched, eyes searching for courage. Teammate shifts uneasily, breaking the quiet with a low grunt. Liam's phone buzzes, notifications flood in. "Y'all let them play" is trending worldwide. His girlfriend's voice echoes in his mind. Neutrality helps the oppressor. He exhales slowly, the decision crystallizing. Liam steps forward, voice low but firm. "We can't stay silent anymore." The room shifts. A veteran player nods subtly, a quiet show of support. Another cracks a small smile, the first sign of solidarity. The coach watches from the doorway, eyes narrowing but lips pressed tight. Outside, the crowd's roar filters in, a reminder of the stakes. Liam's fingers tighten around his phone, the screen's glow illuminating his determined face. He pulls off his jersey, holding it up like a banner. "This isn't just a game," he says, voice steady. "It's about justice." The camera lingers on Liam's face, resolute, unyielding, a quiet ally stepping into the light. The locker room is dimly lit, shadows stretching across the walls as Porter stares into the cracked mirror. His reflection is fractured, mirroring the turmoil inside. The whistle hangs heavy around his neck, a weight he can no longer bear. His hands tremble, fingers brushing the cold metal as memories flood in. Porter, whispering, "Was it ever about the game?" He paces, each step echoing in the quiet. The faces of players flash in his mind. Jamal's calm defiance, the crowd's shifting murmurs. The authority he once wielded feels like a fragile mask slipping away. His phone buzzes, a message from his wife. He ignores it, sinking deeper into his thoughts. The room feels smaller, the walls closing in with every breath. Porter's voice breaks the stillness, barely audible. "I thought I was keeping order." A teammate enters, pausing at the door, sensing the change. He offers a hesitant nod, a silent acknowledgement of Porter's unraveling. Porter's gaze drops to the whistle, fingers tightening around it before releasing with a soft clatter. The sound reverberates, a final surrender. The camera lingers on. Porter's face, lines etched with regret, eyes shadowed by doubt. The arena's distant roar fades, replaced by a heavy stillness. Outside, the city lights flicker, indifferent to the collapse of a man who once held the game in his hands. The scene closes on the whistle resting on the locker room floor, a symbol of lost control and the beginning of reckoning. The press conference room hums with anticipation, every seat filled, cameras blinking red in the back row. Jamal stands at the podium, the MVP trophy glinting beneath harsh lights. He doesn't fidget or smile. His posture is steady, gaze unwavering as he surveys the crowd of reporters. Elena stands nearby, clutching a folder of evidence, her jaw set with pride and relief. Liam's presence is quiet, but powerful, his jersey now bearing "Wang Chu, let them play" in bold marker. A reporter leans forward, microphone raised. "How does it feel to expose the league?" she asks, her voice even but edged, with something urgent. Jamal's answer is low, measured. "Ask the kids," they silenced. The words land heavy, rippling through the room. A hush settles, broken only by the soft click of a camera shutter. Porter sits in the back, hood drawn low, hands trembling as he grips the whistle that once commanded the court. He shrinks further into his seat, eyes darting away from the lights, the crowd, the truth. The league's PR director whispers frantically into a phone, phrases like suspension and investigation, barely audible. Outside, the crowd swells, chanting Jamal's name. Fists rise in the air, the sound rolling through the building. Sunlight breaks through lingering clouds, casting a golden glow over the faces pressed to the glass. Jamal's voice breaks the quiet again, softer but cutting. "You built this system. Now, watch it bury you?" Elena's eyes glisten, Liam nods, and the room holds its breath. The camera lingers on Porter, the cracks in his facade deepening as the weight of accountability settles. Jamal steps down from the podium, the crowd's roar rising behind him. A new chapter beginning. The old order left trembling in the light. The gym is quieter now, the echoes of the press conference still lingering in the air. Jamal stands near the edge of the court, the MVP trophy resting at his feet. A group of young players gathers around, their eyes wide, jerseys rumpled from practice. One boy, smaller than the rest, steps forward, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if they call me aggressive too?" His question hangs, heavy and uncertain. Jamal kneels so they're eye to eye, his expression gentle but serious. He takes a slow breath, letting the weight of the moment settle. "Then you'll know their fear," he says, voice steady. "But that fear isn't yours to carry. You play your game, you hold your head high." The boy's hands twist nervously in his shirt. Another player nudges him, offering a shaky smile. A coach watches from the sidelines, arms crossed, a look of pride softening his features. The other kids draw closer, their questions unspoken but written in their faces. Jamal glances around, his gaze sweeping over the faces, hopeful, wary, determined. "You belong here," he says louder now, the words echoing off the gym walls. "Don't let anyone take that from you." A parent in the bleachers wipes away a tear, squeezing her daughter's shoulder. The coach steps forward, clapping Jamal on the back. "You changed more than the scoreboard, son," he murmurs. The camera lingers on the boy, shoulders squaring, a spark of confidence flickering in his eyes. The group breaks into laughter, the tension easing as they return to the court. Jamal stands, watching them go, the legacy of fears slowly giving way to something braver. Outside, the sun sets, painting the gym windows gold. Inside, hope grows, quiet but unbreakable. The press conference room buzzes with tension, every seat filled, cameras blinking red in the back row. Jamal stands at the podium, the MVP trophy gleaming beneath harsh lights. He doesn't fidget or smile. His posture is steady, gaze unwavering as he surveys the crowd of reporters, Elena stands nearby, clutching a folder of evidence, her jaw set with pride and relief. Liam's presence is quiet but powerful, his jersey now bearing "Trust Let Them Play" in bold marker. A reporter leans forward, microphone raised. "How does it feel to expose the league?" she asks, her voice even but edged with something urgent. Jamal's answer is low, measured. "Ask the kids they silenced." The words land heavy, rippling through the room. A hush settles, broken only by the soft click of a camera shutter. Porter sits in the back, hood drawn low, hands trembling, as he grips the whistle that once commanded the court. He shrinks further into his seat, eyes darting away from the lights, the crowd, the truth. The league's PR director whispers frantically into a phone, phrases like suspension and investigation, barely audible. Outside, the crowd swells, chanting Jamal's name. Fists rise in the air, the sound rolling through the building. Sunlight breaks through lingering clouds, casting a golden glow over the faces pressed to the glass. Jamal's voice breaks the quiet again, softer but cutting. "You built this system. Now, watch it bury you." Elena's eyes glisten, Liam nods, and the room holds its breath. The camera lingers on Porter, the cracks in his facade deepening as the weight of accountability settles. Jamal steps down from the podium, the crowd's roar rising behind him. A new chapter beginning, the old order left trembling in the light. The locker room is shrouded in half-light, the air thick with what's left unsaid. Porter stands at the battered sink, gazing into a fractured mirror. His own reflection stares back, splintered and uncertain, every line on his face deeper than before. The whistle dangles from his neck, its cold weight a reminder of choices that can't be undone. He lifts it, fingers trembling, then lets it fall against his chest with a dull thud. Porter, barely audible. Was it ever about the game? He paces, sneakers squeaking on tile, each step echoing in the stillness. Memories flicker, Jamal's unwavering stare, the crowd's faces shifting from adoration to accusation. The power he once wielded feels paper-thin, a mask slipping with every breath. His phone vibrates on the bench. He glances at the screen, his wife's name, but doesn't answer. The message preview reads, "Are you okay?" He can't bring himself to reply. A teammate steps in, hesitating at the threshold. He clears his throat, eyes darting from Porter to the floor. "Rough night?" he offers, voice low. Porter doesn't look up, only nods, jaw clenched. The teammate lingers, uncertain, then gives a small, awkward nod before leaving, the door clicking softly behind him. Porter's shoulders sag. He sinks onto the bench, head in hands, the whistle slipping from his grasp. It lands on the floor, with a metallic clatter, the sound echoing in the empty room. He whispers, "I thought I was keeping order." But the words feel hollow, swallowed by the quiet. Outside, the city glows, indifferent to the unraveling happening within these walls. The camera lingers on the whistle, now motionless on the tile, a relic of authority surrendered. Porter's breathing slows, resignation settling in. The reckoning has begun, and there's no turning back. The press conference room is thick with anticipation, the hum of cameras and murmurs filling the air. Jamal stands at the podium, the MVP trophy gleaming under harsh lights, his posture calm but resolute. Elena stands beside him, clutching a folder heavy with evidence, her eyes sharp and unwavering. Liam, wearing his Let Them Play jersey, stands quietly in solidarity. A reporter steps forward, microphone extended. "Mr. Porter, how do you respond to the allegations?" The room holds its breath, every eye fixed on the back row. Porter sits, slouched, hood pulled low, fingers trembling as they clutch the whistle that once commanded respect. His voice is barely a whisper. "I thought I was keeping order." The words hang in the air, fragile yet damning. The league's PR director nearby whispers urgently into a phone, "Prepare for suspension." His hand shakes as he scribbles, notes, the old script of denial slipping from his grasp. Outside, the crowd swells, chanting Jamal's name, fists raised in defiance. Sunlight breaks through the clouds, casting a golden glow over the faces pressed against the glass. The energy is electric, the sense of change undeniable. Jamal's voice cuts through the tension, calm and clear. "You built this system. Now watch it bury you." Elena's eyes glisten with tears. Liam nods in quiet agreement. The room holds its breath, the weight of accountability settling like a storm. A junior reporter in the corner scribbles furiously, her brow furrowed, capturing every word. A veteran photographer lowers his camera, letting the moment speak for itself. The silence is charged, the old order trembling under the scrutiny of truth. Porter's facade crumbles, the cracks deepening as the truth settles in. Jamal steps down, the crowd's roar rising behind him. A new chapter begins, the old guard left exposed in the light. The press conference room is charged with a heavy stillness, anticipation thick in the air. Jamal stands at the podium, his eyes unwavering, posture solid. The MVP trophy glints under harsh lights, a silent reminder of every fight, every moment he refused to break. Reporters lean forward, breaths held, not a single camera straying from his face. Porter sits in the back row, hood pulled low, hands shaking as he clutches the whistle that once meant power. His expression is hollow, eyes darting away from the glare of the moment. The authority he once wore so easily now feels brittle. Slipping with every second, Jamal remains silent. A reporter finally breaks the tension, voice low but urgent. "How do you respond to the league's actions?" Jamal doesn't flinch. His voice is calm, almost quiet. "I don't need to shout. The truth is loud enough." The words ripple through the room, a wave of realization shifting the mood. Elena stands. Beside him, her grip tightening on the folder of evidence. Her pride is quiet, but unmistakable. Liam, in his "For Let Them Play" jersey, steps forward, nodding at Jamal, a pact of solidarity, wordless but unbreakable. The crowd stirs, a current of murmurs sweeping the room. Porter's shoulders sag further, the whistle slipping from his hand and landing on the floor with a dull thud. The sound echoes, a final surrender that everyone hears. Outside, the crowd's chant grows. Jamal's name, rolling through the streets, a tide of support that drowns out the old order. Jamal steps down from the podium, the roar following him. But he doesn't look back. The camera lingers on Jamal's gaze, steady, unbroken, a beacon of dignity and resilience. In that quiet, the walls of denial begin to crumble. The press conference winds down, but Elena Ruiz remains rooted near the podium, folder clutched tight. The crowd's energy hums in her ears as she steps forward, laying the folder on the table for all to see. She opens it with steady hands, spreading out emails, ejection logs, and internal memos, each page a piece of a puzzle that's taken months to assemble. A reporter leans in, eyes widening as he scans a highlighted line. "Protect the league's image at all costs." The words are stark, damning. Elena's voice is clear, measured. These are not just mistakes. This is a pattern. Her tone slices through the murmurs, every syllable deliberate. The league's legal advisor shifts in his seat, jaw clenched, pen tapping a nervous rhythm against his notepad. A junior staffer in the back snaps a photo of the evidence, her face, a mix of awe and disbelief. The PR director's phone buzzes again, but he ignores it, gaze fixed on the mounting proof. Liam stands beside Elena, his presence a silent show of support. He meets her eyes, nodding once as if to say, "You did it." Jamal, still at the edge of the stage, watches the scene unfold, pride flickering in his eyes. A veteran journalist whispers to a colleague, "This will change everything." The room feels smaller now, the walls closing in on those who once hid behind routine statements and empty reassurances. Helena closes the folder with a quiet finality, the rustle of paper louder than any accusation. She looks up, meeting the gaze of every executive in the room. "It's all here," she says. "No more hiding." The camera lingers on the documents, the truth finally exposed. The old guard shifts uncomfortably, the weight of justice settling in. The locker room is thick with tension, every movement deliberate, every word measured. Liam Walsh stands by his locker, the weight of Jamal's ejection pressing on him like a stone. His fingers brush the fabric of his jersey, now marked with "Let him play" in bold marker, a silent declaration of where he stands. The air is heavy, teammates exchanging glances, each waiting for someone to speak first. A teammate shifts, breaking the quiet with a low grunt, eyes darting to Liam for a cue. Liam catches his own reflection in the metal of his locker, jaw set, determination flickering in his gaze. His phone vibrates, notifications flooding in, the hashtag trending across the world. His girlfriend's words echo in his mind. Neutrality helps the oppressor. He exhales, the decision settling in his bones. He steps forward, voice low but unwavering. We can't stay silent anymore. The room stills, his words hanging in the air. A veteran player nods, a quiet show of support that ripples through. Oh, the team. Another cracks a small, relieved smile, the first sign of solidarity breaking through the tension. The coach stands in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes narrowing, but saying nothing. Outside, the crowd's roar filters in, a distant reminder of the stakes beyond these walls. Liam tightens his grip on his phone, the blue glow illuminating his face. He pulls off his jersey, holding it up for all to see. This isn't just a game, he says, voice steady. It's about justice. The statement lands, a challenge, and a promise. The camera lingers on Liam's face, resolute, unyielding, a quiet ally finally stepping into the light. The atmosphere shifts, the first real crack in the old order appearing as courage replaces silence. The PR director's phone buzzes relentlessly, the screen lighting up with urgent messages. He stares at the draft press release, the words, "League, suspends Porter indefinitely," glaring back at him. His hand trembles as he drops the pen, the paper fluttering to the floor like a fallen flag. Around the room, executives exchange nervous glances, the weight of decades of denial pressing down. The unsigned statement lies crumpled on the polished table, a symbol of a crumbling facade. No one speaks at first, just the sound of the air conditioner and distant city traffic. The league's legal advisor rubs his temples, eyes squeezed shut, as if he can will the crisis away. A junior staffer watches from the corner, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and hope. She clutches a flash drive tightly, the evidence of systemic bias now in her hands. Her breath catches as she imagines the impact this moment could have. Her supervisor notices, offering a brief, uncertain nod. A silent green light. Outside, the city hums unaware, but inside the boardroom the air is thick with tension. The PR director mutters, "Damage control. Now." His voice barely above a whisper, the usual rehearsed calm replaced by raw urgency. Another executive, voice cracking, asks, "What do we tell the sponsors?" No one answers. The camera pans to a trash can where the shredded remains of old statements lie, a visual metaphor for the league's past lies being consumed by truth. The janitor passing by pauses to empty it, glancing at the fragments with a knowing look before moving on. A staff member clears his throat, breaking the heavy stillness. "We can't keep hiding," he says, voice steady but firm. Heads nod around the room, the first signs of a collective reckoning. The scene closes on the flash drive, its small size belying the power it holds. The fight for justice is no longer quiet. It's a blaze that will not be extinguished. The sky above the arena is thick with gray clouds, the mood inside still charged with tension. Jamal emerges from the building, MVP trophy glinting in his hand. The crowd outside swells, their voices rising in a unified chant. "Jamal! Jamal!" Fists punch the air, a wave of solidarity breaking through lingering doubt and fatigue. The energy is electric, young and old, black and white, shoulder to shoulder, demanding change with every breath. Porter slips into a nearby alley, his figure shrinking as the roar of the crowd grows. He leans against the cold brick, breath shallow, eyes darting. The whistle around his neck now feels like a shackle, each beat of the chant pressing him further into the shadows. His authority, once absolute, dissolves in the face of collective truth. The camera sweeps across the crowd, faces alight with hope, some tear-streaked, others defiant. A grandmother waves a homemade sign, a child on her shoulders echoing the chant. A group of teens link arms, their voices unwavering. The sun breaks through the clouds, golden light spilling across the plaza, illuminating every upturned face. The storm is breaking, both above and within. A janitor stands at the edge of the scene, mop set aside. His eyes glisten, a small, proud smile tugging at his lips. He nods, witnessing the moment when justice begins to take root. Quiet labor finally rewarded with a glimpse of change. The chant grows, echoing through the city streets, a chorus no longer willing to be pushed aside. Jamal lifts the trophy high, sunlight catching on its surface, transforming it into a beacon for all who have waited too long for this day. The camera lingers on Jamal's calm expression, the promise of resilience and hope shining in his eyes as the storm clouds finally part. In the quiet of the arena's break room, Mr. Thompson wipes down a table, the distant roar of the crowd filtering through the walls. The television flickers with images of Jamal hoisting the MVP trophy, the crowd's chant still echoing in the background. Mr. Thompson pauses, leaning on his mop, eyes fixed on the screen. His reflection shimmers in the glass trophy case, gray. Hair, tired eyes, but a smile slowly spreading across his face. A young concessions worker enters, glancing at the TV. "He did it, huh?" she says, her voice soft, full of awe. Mr. Thompson nods, pride swelling in his chest. "He did more than win," he replies, voice rough with emotion. "He changed something." The worker grins, setting down a tray of popcorn. "About time." She gives Mr. Thompson a quick fist bump before hurrying back to her station, her steps lighter than before. Mr. Thompson returns to his work, but his movements are different now, each swipe of the cloth deliberate, almost celebratory. He polishes the glass until Jamal's name gleams, the letters bright and unblemished. The camera lingers on his hands, the quiet care in every motion, the history of unseen labor finally reflected in the shine. A security guard walks by, pausing at the door. He nods at Mr. Thompson, respect clear in his eyes. "Good night, sir." Mr. Thompson nods back, a knowing look passing between them, an understanding that this victory belongs to many, not just one. The break room feels lighter, the weight of years momentarily lifted. Mr. Thompson stands a little straighter, his smile lingering as the camera pulls back, capturing the quiet satisfaction of a man who witnessed justice unfold, not from the spotlight, but from the heart of the arena. The last light of evening glimmers on the riverbank as Porter stands alone, the whistle cold and weighty in his hand. He stares at it, turning the metal over with trembling fingers, its surface dulled by years of use and regret. The wind stirs the water, carrying distant echoes of cheers and jeers from games long past. Porter's shoulders are hunched, his breath shallow, the burden of his choices pressing down harder than ever. He closes his eyes, remembering the faces, Jamal's unwavering stare, the hope in young players' eyes, the disappointment of those he dismissed. The whistle, once a symbol of control, now feels like an anchor, dragging him down with the memories of every call made in prejudice, every moment he let power override fairness. His jaw clenched as he tries to steady himself, the weight of accountability settling in his chest. With a slow, deliberate motion, Porter draws his arm back and hurls the whistle into the river. It arcs through the dusk, catching the last rays of sunlight before vanishing beneath the surface with a muted splash. Ripples spread outward, distorting his reflection in the water, erasing the image of the man he was. He stands motionless, watching as the current carries away the last physical trace of his authority. Behind him, life goes on. Children's laughter drifts from a nearby basketball court, where Jamal coaches a group of eager kids. Their sneakers squeak on the cracked Pavement, their voices rising in joy and determination. Jamal's calm encouragement floats on the breeze, a steady presence guiding the next generation. A young boy glances toward the river, catching Porter's silhouette before turning back to the game. Jamal meets the boy's eyes, nodding in silent reassurance. The moment is brief, but it bridges past and future. One man letting go, another lifting others up. Porter exhales, the tension in his frame softening. He turns from the water, footsteps slow but lighter, the burden of silence finally surrendered. The river flows on, relentless and cleansing, carrying away the old as the night settles in. The camera lingers on the empty riverbank, dusk deepening. The world quietly changes. Porter sits hunched at the end of a dimly lit bar, the world outside reduced to a blur of neon and rain-streaked windows. His whiskey glass remains untouched, the ice slowly melting, marking time he can no longer reclaim. The bar's television flickers with muted highlights. Jamal's face fills the screen, trophy held high. The crowd's cheers muffled by glass and distance. The caption scrolls, MVP Jamal Carter, change whispers. Porter's hand trembles as he reaches for the glass, but pulls back. His gaze drops to the battered whistle lying on the counter, its lanyard tangled, metal dulled by sweat and years of wielded authority. He traces the grooves with his thumb, each ridge a memory, some proud, most now heavy with regret. A bartender wipes down the counter nearby, stealing a glance at Porter's haunted expression. "You all right, man?" he asks, voice gentle but cautious. Porter doesn't answer, only offers a tight nod, eyes never leaving the whistle. On the TV, Jamal's voice echoes even through the static. Change doesn't roar, it whispers. The words land like a stone in Porter's chest. He recalls every time he raised his arm, every decision made with a glance, a shrug, a silent judgment. The bar's quiet amplifies the weight of all he never said, never questioned. He lifts the whistle, holding it in his palm for a long moment. His fingers tremble as he lets it drop into the trash can beside him. The clatter is sharp, final, a hollow punctuation to a reign built on bias and unchecked power. The bartender pauses, watching, understanding more than he says. Porter leans, back, shoulders sagging, the silence around him deeper than before. The TV's glow washes over his face as Jamal's speech plays again, hope rising in a world that has already moved on. The whistle is gone. The reckoning is done. The league's headquarters are uncharacteristically quiet, the usual hum replaced by a tense, reflective hush. In the main conference room, a long table is lined with executives, each one hunched over a stack of documents. The air is thick with the gravity of what's unfolding, a reckoning decades overdue. Gold pens move across the pages, the scratch of ink on paper echoing like confessions. Every signature on the new anti-bias policies is an admission. The old ways failed, and the cost was real lives, real futures. A senior executive, usually brisk and confident, hesitates before signing. She glances at the bold title stamped on the training manual beside her, recognizing unconscious prejudice. Her hand trembles for a moment before she presses the pen down, her face a mask of regret and determination. Around her, others follow suit, some with resolve, others with resignation. The process is slow, almost ceremonial, as if the weight of history must be honored before it can be lifted. On the edge of the room, a janitor pauses, mop in hand. He watches the scene, his eyes reflecting a lifetime spent in the background, cleaning up after others, bearing silent witness to the league's rise and rot. Today, he nods to himself. A small private acknowledgement that change, however slow, is finally arriving. A young assistant quietly stacks the completed documents, her movements careful, almost reverent. She glances at the janitor, offering a brief, genuine smile, a tiny bridge between worlds that rarely meet. The camera lingers on the stack of manuals, their spines uncracked, waiting for hands willing to turn the page. As the meeting ends, the executives file out in silence, the echo of their footsteps a reminder that the hardest work is just beginning. The janitor resumes his sweeping, each stroke a quiet act of hope, as the old regime's dust is swept away, one corridor at a time. The gym is packed, the buzz of anticipation bouncing off the walls as a new game tips off. At center court stands a black woman in a crisp referee uniform, her presence alone a quiet signal of change. The crowd notices, some with pride, others with wary curiosity, but all eyes are on her as the game unfolds. Midway through the second quarter, a white player curses loudly after a missed shot, frustration boiling over. The referee's whistle pierces the air, sharp and unhesitating. She strides over, her posture calm and unflinching, and signals the technical foul. The players' teammates freeze, surprise flickering across their faces. The crowd holds its breath, uncertain, waiting for the usual double standard to play out. But the referee's decision is clear, her voice steady as she explains, "Unsportsmanlike conduct. Technical foul." She doesn't waver, her authority rooted not in volume but in fairness. The player protests, but she meets his gaze with a level stare, unbothered by the pushback. The coach starts to rise, then sits back down, recognizing a new order in the gym. A ripple moves through the stands. Some fans erupt in applause, their cheers swelling as the realization settles. The rules are being enforced for everyone, not just a few. Others exchange glances, slowly nodding, the old doubts replaced by a cautious respect. The camera lingers on the referee's face, focused, composed, unyielding. On the sidelines, a young girl in the front row watches, eyes wide with admiration. She tugs at her mother's sleeve, whispering, "She's not afraid." The mother smiles, squeezing her daughter's hand, hope flickering in her eyes. The game resumes, but the atmosphere has shifted. The referee's whistle is no longer a weapon, it's a promise. The crowd's applause grows, thunderous and sincere, as the gym embraces a new era where fairness is no longer negotiable. The cracked asphalt court basks in the late afternoon sun, shadows stretching long and thin. Jamal stands at the edge, whistle tucked away, watching a group of kids dribble and pass with eager energy. The sound of bouncing balls and sneakers scraping concrete fills the air, a rhythm of hope and resilience. A young boy hesitates near the three-point line, eyes flickering with doubt. He whispers, "What if they call me aggressive too?" Jamal's gaze softens, and he kneels to meet the boy's eyes, voice calm but firm. "Then wear it like armor," Jamal says, a small smile breaking through. "Their fear isn't yours to carry. Play your game, hold your head high." The boy nods slowly, shoulders straightening. Around them, other kids watch, absorbing the quiet strength in Jamal's words. A coach nearby wipes sweat from his brow, eyes reflecting pride and hope. Jamal moves among the players, correcting stances, offering encouragement. His presence is steady, a beacon amid the cracked court and fading light. The camera lingers on the boy as he takes a shot, the ball arcing true, swishing through the net. Laughter and cheers rise, the tension easing into joy. Jamal's voice-over breaks the scene. This court holds more than games. It holds dreams, resilience, and the promise of change. The sun dips lower, casting a golden glow over the players. Jamal watches, a quiet smile on his face, knowing the fight continues, not just on the court, but in every heart willing to stand. The court, worn and cracked, tells stories of countless battles fought and won. Each scuff mark and faded line is a testament to resilience, a silent witness to dreams that refuse to be dimmed. Jamal's presence here is more than coaching. It's a reclaiming of space long denied. Nearby, a mother watches her son play, her eyes moist with hope and pride. She whispers to a friend, "This is what change looks like." The camera captures the subtle nods of agreement from other parents, a community quietly healing. As the sun dips further, the shadows grow longer, but the light in the player's eyes burns brighter. Jamal's voiceover continues, "Every shot taken here is a step toward justice, every cheer a promise kept." The scene closes on the boy who once hesitated, now running full tilt, laughter ringing out. The court's heartbeat is steady, unyielding, a rhythm of hope that will not be silenced. Dawn creeps through Elena's apartment window, painting the walls in soft gold as she sits hunched over her laptop. The city outside is just waking, but Elena's eyes are bright with exhaustion and satisfaction. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, the final lines of her article taking shape. Justice served quietly. She pauses, rereading every word, making sure the story is honest, sharp, and unflinching. Stacks of old notes, interview transcripts, and highlighted documents litter her desk, a testament to months of investigation, late nights, and quiet determination. The headline glows on the screen, bold and unyielding. Elena's heart pounds as she attaches the last piece of evidence. Jamal's speech, the league's new policies, the image of the discarded whistle. She leans back, rubbing her eyes. Her phone buzzes with messages. Congratulations from colleagues. A thank you from Jamal, a simple "you did it" from her editor. She smiles, relief mingling with pride. In the reflection of her window, she sees the city waking, protest posters peeling from walls, replaced by fresh murals and hopeful graffiti. Elena's neighbor knocks softly, holding out a cup of coffee. "Saw the news," he says, offering a warm grin. "You made a difference." She accepts the cup, gratitude flickering in her eyes. "We all did," she replies, voice soft but certain. She hits save one last time, the click echoing like a full stop to a long battle. The article uploads, the headline now live for the world to see. Outside, the city hums with new energy, the scars of protest giving way to green shoots of hope. Elena stands, stretching, her gaze lingering on the sunrise. The fight isn't over, but today, at least for a moment, truth has the final word. The community center buzzes with laughter and sneakers squeaking on polished floors. Liam stands by the trophy case, championship jersey folded in his hands. He hesitates, fingers tracing the stitched numbers, recalling every game, every moment. He stayed silent when he should have spoken up. Today, he's here to change that. A group of kids gathers, eyes wide as Liam gently places the jersey into the display. A black teen steps forward, awe in his voice. "Why'd you help us?" Liam meets his gaze, voice steady but humble. "Because silence isn't an option. Not anymore." The words hang in the air, heavier than any trophy. A coach claps Liam. On the back, pride and gratitude mingling in his smile. "You set an example," he says, quietly. Liam nods, a small smile breaking through the nerves. The kids crowd closer, some touching the jersey, others snapping photos. For them, it's more than a piece of fabric. It's a symbol that the world can change, that allies matter. Liam's old teammates arrive, a few offering handshakes, others simply nodding, acknowledging the shift. The camera pans to Liam's empty locker back at the stadium, a relic of complicity now retired, the nameplate removed, the space left open for new beginnings. A mother in the crowd wipes away a tear, whispering to her daughter, "He stood up when it counted." The daughter grins, eyes shining with possibility. Liam looks around the room, seeing hope reflected back at him. The center's walls, once lined with faded banners, now pulse with new energy. He takes a deep breath, feeling lighter, the weight of old regrets replaced by the quiet pride of action. As the kids return to the court, Liam lingers for a moment, watching them play. The jersey glows in the case, a silent promise that allyship is more than words. It's a legacy. Morning sunlight streams through the arena's high windows, catching dust motes that swirl in the quiet. Mr. Thompson moves slowly, polishing the new MVP trophy until Jamal's name gleams in the brass. His reflection shimmers in the surface, a man who spent decades in the background, now witnessing a legacy he helped shape. A maintenance worker passes by, offering a respectful nod. "Looks good, Mr. Thompson." He smiles, pride warming his tired features. "It's about time, isn't it?" The worker grins, pausing to admire the trophy. Long overdue. Mr. Thompson straightens, surveying the display case. The old trophies, dulled by years of neglect, now share space with this new symbol of change. He wipes the glass, careful and deliberate, as if sealing the moment in history. A group of kids rushes past, sneakers squeaking, laughter echoing off the walls. One boy stops, pressing his hands to the glass. "That's Jamal's name," he whispers, awe in his voice. Mr. Thompson kneels beside him, voice soft but proud. "He earned it, and so can you." The camera pans to a new plaque above the case. Every voice matters. The words are simple, but the meaning is profound. A silent promise that the days of being overlooked are ending. A coach enters, pausing to shake Mr. Thompson's hand. "Thank you," he says, voice thick with emotion. Mr. Thompson nods, humility and satisfaction mingling in his eyes. We all played a part. As the arena fills with the sounds of a new game, Mr. Thompson lingers by the trophy, his reflection steady and sure. The legacy of injustice is being replaced, one polished name at a time, by a future built on dignity and courage. The scene closes as he steps back, watching the next generation take the court, hope shining in every stride. The late afternoon sun stretches long golden shadows across the cracked basketball court, where Jamal lingers after practice. The air is full of laughter and the rhythmic pounding of sneakers, a living contrast to the heavy hush that once haunted this place. The court, battered but alive, now pulses with hope. A young boy, once paralyzed by doubt, leaps with fierce joy, dunking the ball and letting out a triumphant shout. Jamal's steady gaze follows him, pride quiet but deep, a testament to the battles fought and the dignity reclaimed beyond the scoreboard. The other kids cheer, their voices rising in a chorus of possibility. Far from the court, Porter's old whistle lies forgotten, sinking into the muddy riverbed, lost to the past and its burdens. The camera lingers on the calm water, the fading sun mirrored on its surface, a silent promise that the old order is gone. Jamal's voice breaks the stillness, soft but resolute. The shadows of the past may linger, but they no longer define us. Every shot, every cheer, is a step toward a future where justice is more than a word. It's a way of life. Parents watch from the sidelines, faces etched with relief and hope. A mother leans down to her daughter, whispering, "This is what progress looks like." The girl nods, eyes shining, absorbing the lesson with every bounce of the ball. The camera pulls back, capturing the court bathed in warm light, the players' silhouettes stretching long and sure. The sunset paints the sky in hues of orange and pink, a quiet promise that while the fight continues, the path forward is brighter and more certain. The scene closes on Jamal's calm face, the weight of history lifted, replaced by the steady strength of a new dawn. The laughter of children and the golden light signal a future where hope and justice are no longer distant dreams, but lived realities.